Um, so yeah, this book is basically about like Ruthless and Death Row. So that's mostly what I want to talk to you about is your time with Ruthless.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I've heard the story about how you guys came out to LA hoping to meet up with Eazy and everything. And you took a Greyhound bus, is that right?
Yes, we took a Greyhound bus, one way Greyhound bus.
Okay. And had you guys ever been out of Cleveland really?
No, man, we had never been outside of Cleveland. I mean, the furthest I had been at that time was like when I was like much younger, traveled to Pittsburgh because I got family in Pennsylvania, but that was about as much as we ever traveled outside of Cleveland.
Okay. Nice. But then when you were in LA, you didn't actually meet up with Easy, even though you talked to him on the phone. Did you feel like was it disappointing in that moment?
No, it wasn't disappointed in that moment because we were actually happy that we had just got the opportunity to talk with him. And because when we spoke with him, he told us that he was going to be in Cleveland in a few weeks. So that pumped us up to want to get back to Cleveland to try to actually meet him because we know if we got back to Cleveland, we had connections in Cleveland to where we could get in. We could get in and get him close to him, close enough to talk to him.
Oh, okay. So did you end up performing at that show, or did you just talk to him backstage in Cleveland?
No, we actually ended up performing at the show because the person that actually gave us the number to Ruthless Records for us to talk with them. They had like a very well known record store in Cleveland, and they were like the main people at most of the concerts that went down in Cleveland. So we asked him, and he was like, if we make it back to Cleveland, will we be able to at least open up for him? And he was like, yeah, if y'all make it back, I can guarantee y'all a spot. So that's how all that is. So we got a chance to open up for him as well.
And was Stefan performing at that show too?
Yes. I believe he was. Yes, indeed.
Oh, okay, I heard something like everybody loved you guys. You guys from Cleveland, but like Stefan and them, were like booed and stuff like that.
Man, I honestly don't even like remember because our whole thoughts was like was concentrating on getting to Eazy-E, like actually having a conversation with him and letting him know that we were the ones to talk to him on the phone. That was our whole concentration.
Right. And how did you guys gather up the money to get a bus ticket back to Cleveland?
Where we called around to our family and we just asked if they could help us get back home. We kind of act like we were stranded. You know what I'm saying? And our family rustled up the money and they came to the rescue. You know what I'm saying? But we managed to get back.
So in the group, you guys, there's one pair of brothers and one cousin. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And you were known earlier as Bone Enterprise, and then Eazy added the Harmony to your name. Is that right?
No, we was known as Bone Enterprise, but before we met Eazy, we jumped to Enterprise. It was just called Bone. Because Bone just represents the family name, and we had a song called Thugs and Harmony. And Eazy was like, I like the name Thugs and Harmony. That should be our name. He was like, yeah, but Bone is the family name. And he was like, so be called Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's just what it was.
Oh, nice. So, how did you guys come up with the style of mixing singing with fast rapping?
Man, it's just it's just developed over time. With us being so close knit, and us coming up together, and us always being together. Doing everything together, and just always like sitting up writing and getting in little ciphers was just us. And then we started like, you know, y'all sound like the rapping Temptations or something. You know what I'm saying? They started like telling us like how different it was, and you know, it just came about. You know, from us being together for so long and just sticking to it and just, you know, like I said, being close knit.
Were you guys fans of groups like the Temptations?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's music we was raised on. You know, like my mother and father was definitely played that in the house. So we was definitely fans of all the Motown All Stars and all the oldies and all that. We knew all about all that.
And so, where were you guys? Where did you stay when you first came to the Los Angeles area?
Well, man, when we first came down, you know, Flesh was actually going to school out in Los Angeles, and that's where we got the whole idea to come out here because he was out here, and yeah, you know, I guess he was going to parties and, you know, hanging out and stuff. And he called us one day. He was like, "Man, everywhere I've been to, I've met a different celebrity. Every party I've been to, I've met a different celebrity." He's like, "If y'all was out here, I guarantee y'all to run into somebody." So, you know, we was, you know, we just came up with the idea to come out there. That, you know, Flesh was he had people down there. There was some Cleveland as well. So like when we came down, they had like a 1-bedroom apartment, but it was like 7 or 8 of us. You know what I'm saying? So like we was all like jammed just 1-bedroom apartment, and then we had got a 2-bedroom apartment, but it was all the way down in Visalia, California. So we packed it up and went down there, and we were just like out of the way, couldn't really do nothing because we were so far away. We couldn't pursue no music and nothing. We was just down there, so we was like, eventually we came back and we stayed with came back to LA, and then we stayed with a guy and this girl named Dina and Don, and we stayed with them. They had like a 2-bedroom house, so it was just crazy. We was bouncing back and forth, and then, you know, like some nights we was outside, stayed outside all night. It was crazy.
So, but once you got in with Ruthless, did they put you up like in the valley somewhere?
Yeah, after we met Eazy, after we opened up the show for him, after the show, he told us to come to the hotel, and we went to see him at the hotel, and he was just, you know, he was like, "We don't want to leave." I was like, "Baby, where you go?" Whatever. And then, you know, when we got back, he put us up in a hotel out in the valley.
Okay. And do you remember what Flesh was studying or what school he was going to?
Man, I forgot where he was attending classes at. I forgot where he was.
And then Jerry Heller wrote in his book that he said when you guys first arrived, you were considering robbing senior citizens in the valley. Is that true?
Man, I don't know what he's talking about. Like considering robbing senior citizens. I don't know where he got that from. We was out here in California, away from our home turf, away from our element. We weren't trying to do nothing that was gonna get us in any trouble because we knew nothing about these streets, the prison system, or none of that. So we wasn't trying to get into none of that out here in California because we didn't know nothing. Our focus was on music, and we weren't, you know what I'm saying, like.
Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. I think he also said you guys were like kicked out of motels. Is that false too?
Oh yeah, now that happened. You know what I'm saying? We almost stayed down there, you know what I'm saying, in the valley. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you know, we was young. We was young, wild. We was happy that, you know, one of our childhood idols was working with us. You know what I'm saying, man? We was just wild, you know.
Right. Probably partying and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Eazy would give you like bricks of weed, and he'd give you money. I think it was Busy was saying he sort of like beyond like the contract or whatever, he would give you just money for no reason and like weed for no reason.
Yeah. He would make sure we was taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Every food and all that. Weed too. Definitely.
Just a second. I had to tell my son to stop doing that.
All right.
Stop it. I'll see if that works. And then on the famous New York trip where you guys went in late 1994,
Yeah.
when Eazy met up with Ice Cube, he was there with you guys to do promotion for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we was there. Yeah, we was there. We did Young TV rap. We did everything. We were Fat Five Freddy and Lever, Dr. Dre. We was down there on a run.
Oh, right. I saw that. And then you met Biggie that night, right?
Yeah, Big, Heavy D, LL Cool J. Ice Cube, actually was our first time seeing Ice Cube too. So yeah, it was like crazy for us. We was tripping.
And so, do you have any idea why Ice Cube was there with Puffy and Biggie that night?
Man, I have no idea. But Ice Cube had always mingled on both coasts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we knew that before we got to the business because we could tell, like, saw what he was doing with his music. When after he left NWA, and how he started getting working with a lot of East Coast producers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Having like a lot of that New York flavor. So I mean, Cube was always down in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had love down there in New York.
Right, exactly. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So, but Eazy and Cube had already sort of reconciled before that, right? So there wasn't, like in the movie, it makes it look like there was a little bit of hostility, but hadn't they already reconciled?
Yeah, man, I don't know if it was reconciled, but I just know, like, when they saw each other, they were just happy to see each other. You know what I'm saying? There was we didn't sense no kind of drama, no type of animosity and none of that, you know? They were just happy to see each other. It's crazy.
Right. So Eazy bought you guys like leather coats so you could like be warm in the winter there or something like that?
Yeah. He bought us all like black leather jackets because it was freezing in New York. You know what I'm saying? So we was down there. We always got leather coats, and he bought one, but he didn't wear it. He didn't put it on.
Do you know why?
Nah, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't put it on, but it was cold.
And then, do you think that an NWA reunion with Dre would have happened, or do you think that Eazy and Dre were still too far apart?
Oh no, man, it definitely would have happened. It definitely would have happened. I already know it would have happened because he was dedicated to making that happen again. He used to tell us, you know what I'm saying, like, that they was going to get back together. So, I mean, it was definitely going to happen.
Right. I heard that, you know how part of the reason Dre left was because he said that Eric wasn't paying him enough. And he said that he thought that they were partners in Ruthless Records at the very beginning. Toker, you know Toker, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Toker was saying that at the end, Eazy was saying, Dre was right about that. Ruthless Records, really, we were supposed to be partners. He was right. I didn't do right by him. Did Eazy ever say anything like that to you?
No, he didn't really say that. But we can tell that, you know what I'm saying, whatever happened, that he wanted to fix it. We got that from him, definitely.
Uh-huh. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever happened, he definitely wanted to fix it. That's why he was so confident that, they was going to get back together because he was ready to fix it.
Right. And then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'll say once they got Jerry out there, once he got Jerry out the way, you know what I'm saying, he was going right back to them.
And do you think Jerry was stealing from Eazy, or do you think it was more complicated than that?
Man, I don't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know he came to us and, showed us some stuff saying that, showed us some stuff that was saying, it wasn't right, and it had something to do with Jerry Heller. So, of course in this business, everybody's gonna automatically think it's money, or because what else could there be, really? You know what I'm saying? So
Right. But you,
we know it was something shiesty going down that something shiesty going down that Eazy didn't like because he told us. You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact. And we know it was with Jerry Heller because he told us. We know that for a fact. So,
right. Did you when did you first meet Tamika? Was she living with Eazy in his Topanga house when you met her?
Yeah, we first met her when he was alive. With Eazy invited us to a barbecue at his house. He invited us to a barbecue at his house, and she was there. She was cooking. She was there. That's crazy. That's one of Eazy's dudes right there. That's crazy. She was cooking, and that's when we met her.
So could you have guessed that they were tight enough that they would get married later, or did that seem like out of the blue?
Yeah, honestly, we didn't. I wasn't paying no attention to their relationship, how close they was, and who. I wasn't even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? I honestly, I probably could have thought they was already married. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So I had no idea.
And when did Ron Sweeney kind of come onto the scene?
Me and Rob Sweeney came into the scene when we after I guess he was in the hospital, and when we was about to get our first royalty checks, he's the one who presented to us our first royalty checks, Ron Sweeney, and we had never seen him a day in our life.
Oh, really? Well, that's a good first impression, at least, if he comes up to you with a nice check.
Oh yeah, but we were still kind of, our whole thing at that point was where's Eazy at? Because at this point we hadn't talked to him in weeks. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't know what was going on, so we was just okay, where's Eazy at? It was just they was just trying to give us these checks, and we didn't know what was going on. But we was like, okay, whatever. We took the checks, and we all went moved back to Cleveland and got houses and established ourselves back home. And then after that, that's when we found out what was going on. But that's when we met him, when all the stuff had first started going on with Eazy. I guess before they went to the public, when it started talking about what was going
on. So you guys got your royalty checks. This would have been in early '95, and then you went back to Cleveland. You went back to Cleveland for a while, and you guys bought houses.
Yep, definitely.
Nice. Well, that must have been a pretty amazing feeling to come home and to really be able to show everybody that you made it. I mean, obviously they would have heard you on the radio already.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, the city was definitely bubbling. They was hype, and this shit when we came back home and did what we did, they was like, oh yeah, they seriously in the game now, in the business.
Did you try to visit Eazy in the hospital, and if so, were you able to do it?
No, I was actually I was in Cleveland at the time. I was in Cleveland because I already went back to Cleveland. I think Lazy was still out in California, and nobody told us nothing. Nobody really told us nothing Nobody told us nothing, so we didn't. We had no information about nothing. Like even the funeral. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just like we was I found out he had AIDS from MTV News, and I found out he died from MTV News. So that's how it went down.
Yes. So I heard that that Wishbone was there though at Eazy's funeral, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they went to the funeral, but I'm quite sure they went to the hospital to visit him.
Okay. I heard Stefan was saying that Wishbone was really torn up, and he was saying like Eazy ain't dead. If somebody said so, we're fighting.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Right. And did you ever have any dealings with Mike Klein?
Yeah, Mike Klein. Oh yeah, Mike Klein. We definitely remember him. The first thing we remember about Mike Klein is we remember complaining to Eazy about money, and we made a big deal about it. Like for some reason, Eazy, Mike Klein was. For one, we used to go up in the office, and Mike Klein used to be just sitting in the corner, just like sitting in the corner, like just not saying nothing. And then slowly, like every time we would go up there, like he would like speak up more and more, and just like join in the conversations. And one day, like I said, we used to complain about some money, and Eazy told Mike Klein to take care of us. And we were like, okay, who the hell is this dude? Like, so Mike Klein invited us to his house. It was somewhere in Hollywood. The house was like some shit you see out of a mafia movie like Godfather. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? The house had an elevator in it. It was crazy. We went in. He come out with a big duffel bag and had like $20,000 in it and gave it to us. We were like, oh shit, we just did a drug deal. It was crazy. We didn't know what was going on, but we took the money, and then after that, it's crazy because like I don't know if this dude was trying to like scare us or what he was trying to do, because like he would when we be at the office, he would show us pictures like of him over in the Middle East, like holding dudes like heads, like chopped off, like holding people's heads in his hand, like showing us pictures of this. We used to be like, oh man, this dude is crazy. We trying to do scare us or something. It was like he on some like terrorist type shit. I used to like, oh man, dude, who is this dude? And then after Eazy died, he totally disappeared. We never heard or seen from him ever again to this day.
Yeah, I heard other people have said he showed him those pictures too. And just to backtrack a little, you said, was that his house in Hollywood, the one with the elevator?
Say what now?
You said he took you to a house in Hollywood, Mike Klein, and then came out with the big duffel bag. Was that his house in Hollywood? Okay.
Yeah. I guess it was his house. You know what I'm saying? He chose to come to his house, so I guess it was. And then he started hanging out with us more and more. Just like throughout the day, I was like, it was just like a lot of people was trying to come in. I don't know if people. That's what I'm saying. It's suspicious. I don't know if people know he had AIDS and everything, but it was just a lot of peculiar characters coming around. Like they was just like, I don't know. It was just crazy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, I haven't heard or seen anything about him in I don't know how long.
What did he spoke with like an accent, I heard, and he had like a thick gold watch and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. He had a little accent, like something like Middle Eastern. That's what I take it, because when you show the pictures, it looked like he was in a desert somewhere. So that's exactly what he looked like.
Were people from the Nation of Islam coming around the office?
I honestly never remember seeing anybody from the Nation of Islam around the office, but like, we was there. It might have been, but I don't remember seeing any.
Okay. Um, and then after Eazy died, was your first thought like we want to try to stay on Ruthless, or was your first thought we want to probably try to leave Ruthless?
Man, I don't know. We honestly didn't know what was gonna happen. You know, we was just lost. You know, and then I mean, we didn't want it for too much longer because you know we got a call from the record company and they wanted to have a meeting with us like shortly after. So, and they explained to us that you know Eazy wanted them to keep us. So I mean, after that we was cool. We just didn't, you know, understand what direction it was gonna go after him. So I mean, that was pretty much it.
Did it? I know there were like.
Damn.
I know there was like what do you call it, the company took over, the holding company or whatever, and they like locked all the doors on the office and stuff like that. Was there like there was like a period of uncertainty for a while?
Oh yeah. Doors was locked. You know, everything. You know, because everybody was. You know, I mean, you know how it is when somebody like that dies. All the vultures come out. So you know, you got to protect the whole estate, I guess. You know, and they just shut it down till they get everything together.
And then, did you ever deal with Ernie Singleton?
Ernie Singleton, I've heard of him. I've maybe had like been in the room when we had like conversations and stuff like that, but I never really never really talk to him one-on-one, nothing like that.
Okay. Did it seem like a lot of people were like getting fired all of a sudden right after Eazy died?
Yeah, everybody got fired after Eazy died. Everybody. From artists to employees, everybody got fired.
And you think you guys were spared probably because you were like the top selling artist?
Yeah. I already know that's the reason. What other reason would they keep us? Because we were the money makers. If we wouldn't make enough money, we'd have got the boot too.
And then there was like I don't know if you've seen the FBI report about this time, but it said that there was a lot of the names are redacted, but it said that someone was worried that Bone Thugs was going to try to leave Ruthless, so they made like master recordings of your songs. They made like copies of it, or they took the master recordings in case you guys tried to leave or something. Does that sound like something that happened?
Man, I don't recall none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it could be. That's what happens in this business. You know what I'm saying? I don't recall nothing like that, but you know.
Was it?
It could have been.
Were you guys considering just like taking your music, the album, your big album? Were you considering just taking the master recordings and trying to go somewhere else?
No, we never considered that. We never considered that. We didn't, we didn't know, we didn't know the business like that. You know, we was fresh in the business. We didn't even know, that would be an option to do that. Because we was very, very new. You know what I'm saying? Because we just threw that EP out. That wasn't really like, you know what I'm saying? So when we came supposed to do like that album, each other album, like we were still fresh in the game. We still didn't know nothing about the business. We was just living a life at the time. So
right.
I'm not going to even know nothing like that.
That's a good point. And then there was supposed to be some like unreleased music from Eazy-E that was in like the trunk of his leased Mercedes in some briefcases that somebody like took and went to Canada with. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard none of that. I can only imagine there's a whole bunch of inside stories, but like a lot of them, I never heard nothing like
that. And was Busy Bone was like he was worried that he accused Tamika of trying to sleep with him, and he was worried she might have AIDS.
Man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I never really got involved with none of that personal stuff that was going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the whole situation was. I didn't care to know at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Busy was straight from us as well, so I wasn't checking on that he was doing at the time or whatever she was doing. None of that. I wasn't really on that, so I know nothing about that situation.
Okay. And then I know Ruthless sued Bone Thugs for breach of contract in 2001. What was the result of that lawsuit?
Say it again now?
Ruthless sued Bone Thugs for breach of contract in 2001. And I was wondering what the result was of that lawsuit.
Oh man, I actually think everything was resolved because I actually think we actually worked together after that. I actually think like we did more music after that, so it was. I mean, we had like a lot of battles with Ruthless Records, man. You know, the relationship was bumpy from the start. You know what I'm saying? It was like it's a lot of battles and war stories with Ruthless Records. You know, so I mean, like, yeah, they're here.
So do you think it was probably the lawsuit was probably like settled out of court or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was because I really can't recall like nothing like really too big telling something. I really give you hardly like barely remember it because it was so long ago.
And I know you've been called the Eazy-E. You've called Eazy-E the West Coast Russell Simmons. Do you think he's responsible for the rise of gangster rap, like generally everywhere?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, he has to be. Like, even if it comes from different generations, but it all comes from what he started. Like, it wouldn't have been that if Eazy wouldn't have been with Eazy and you know, because rap had been out for a long time before they came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they definitely brought that to the table. They should be credited with doing that. You know what I'm saying? He is the founder of gangster rap. Just like Bone Thugs and Harmony, we're the founders of our style. You know what I'm saying? They created what they did. So, I mean, that's just what it is. They're going to forever go down as that. Be known for that.
Right. And then I know you guys and Eazy all kind of shared some interest in like, you know, Ouija boards, and were you guys ever into like the dark mysticism kind of stuff?
No, man, we actually played that Ouija board a few times. But somebody gave it to us, and we just played around with being kids. You know what I'm saying? Just curious. You would never into no devil worship or seances or none of that stuff. Like, completely stayed away from it. Us just being rebellious teenagers wanted to do some dumb shit and go play with one, and that's all that was. That's all it was.
Okay, cool. And you think the same with Eazy? Because I heard he had like a tattoo.
Well, I don't know, like he liked that kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I think he did it more for on an entertainment level. You know what I'm saying? Like, to go with the whole, you know, crazy image or whatever, the whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the reason he did it, you know?
As opposed to like actually like making blood sacrifices or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you? And then after Biggie's death, did you go to the peace meeting at Minister Farrakhan's home in Chicago?
No, I didn't go. I think Busy Bone was at that meeting. You know, a couple other artists and all that. Yeah, I didn't really get caught up in all that either.
Okay. Were you involved with the beef with Dog Pound, or were you kind of on the sidelines for that?
It was both. You know, Eazy wanted to keep us out that whole situation, but it was a few times, you know, where we crossed paths and there was a few words said, but nothing really major really jumped off. You know, it was just everybody was just caught up in the moment at that time.
Okay. So you didn't ever feel like it was? Did you feel like it was more like a music thing, or was there like a real life component that was serious, or was it not that serious? Do you think?
I mean, the media and you know the made it look serious, you know, because it was you know in the entourages and all that, but like the actual where the beef came from, the actual beef between Eazy and Dre, you know, like I said, they was talking, you know what I'm saying? They was talking after all the diss records was made. They were talking again, you know what I'm saying? So it was like everybody else was taking it to the next level.
Right.
But that's what happened. But that's what happens. The same thing with Biggie and Tupac. I mean, it is what it is.
So did you? So yeah, you guys are one of the few who've collaborated with both Biggie and Tupac. I mean, did you get a sense that there was really a true friendship there that was just kind of blown up over time?
Man, I really don't know because I really wasn't there when they was friends or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's two sides to every story. Who knows what the truth is? You know what I'm saying? All we got is two sides to the story. I mean, you know, who knows? Who knows?
Is there what's the status on the Dog Pound Bone Thugs album?
Yeah, honestly, man, you know that's something we got to get back in the studio and like really get serious with. You know, it was started, but it was just like you know just some pre-production. But we're looking to get back in on that real soon.
So you guys are basically tight now. Are you tight with Corrupt?
Oh yeah, everybody, man, everybody. You know, we all good. We all good.
And then I was, you know, a lot of people have said a lot of like things about Tamika. I was hoping to sort of get her side of the story and really give her a chance to give her side of the story. Do you know how I might be able to contact her?
I have an email that I can text to you. If this is your cell number, this is your cell number?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can text you her email number. Her email address.
Okay, cool. If you have it, you can also read it to me over the phone if that's easier. Whatever is easier.
I'm gonna have to go inside my phone because I'm not on my phone. My phone died. I'm on somebody else's phone, so I'll text it to you as soon as I can put it up.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, very cool. Well, thank you very much for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
Man, thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, man.
Bye.